Rising coronavirus cases, possible lockdowns, restrictions, and social distancing are some of the many factors going against restaurants in 2020. For many, weather is now becoming a concern. I got a chance to get an inside look into what it's like operating a restaurant and cafe in the midst of a global pandemic. At Kennedy's Restaurant and Irish Pub, located in Marlborough, Massachusetts, innovation has been key to success. This is Julie Doherty and Michael Kennedy, owners of the restaurant. I sat down with both to discuss what they have done this year, including dealing with hardships, such as missing key holidays.
In fact, they closed us the day before our busiest day of the year, being St. Patrick's Day.
And employee cuts.
We spent the first week to 2 weeks assisting our employees in the process and to help them and to kind of all stabilize the situation. And then we sat down and said, what are we going to do?
During lockdown, they continued serving takeout through their marketplace, deciding that they wanted to make major changes within the restaurant.
We focused on takeout initially when the restaurants inside were closed.
We had stuff that we needed to work on improving, in the recent years. So we thought together, let's take this time and start, putting some muscle into it and doing it ourselves.
As Julie takes me on a tour of the restaurant, you can see it is newly renovated, an achievement that they use to boost traffic after the lockdown.
We thought, well, once we reopen, we're going to have a really nice place to show people, and it will give us the best shot.
Changes included painting, restaining, tiling, carpeting, and a renovated indoor dining space and kitchen. One noticeable change was the absence of a bar.
We comply with all the regulations. We can't have bar seating, so we move tables up to the bar so that people can still feel like they are at the bar.
The biggest change of all, a new outdoor patio. This has been a success at the restaurant.
But in a time where outdoor dining is necessary because of the virus, what went into designing the outdoor area and the safety precautions there?
Well, it was actually an afterthought. We had finished inside. We were, of course, up to date on the news of what's happening, the reopening plan, and they kept hinting towards outdoor dining. We have this area. It was pretty much dirt. We need to make a patio out there.
Do you find people responding well to the outdoor dining?
They love it.
And
Yeah.
the indoor dining?
Yeah, they're very comfortable eating outside. Some are not comfortable inside yet, and I understand that.
As the cooler months continue to roll in, the Kennedys, like many other restaurants, see signs of trouble.
People are not going to want to be outside when it's 20. It's just not going to happen.
Doherty notes that the cost of tents and other precautions would be too expensive. Instead, they try to make guests and customers feel as safe and warm as possible through heat lamps, fireplaces, and even blankets before the winter comes. In Ithaca, restaurants are dealing with similar problems. I sat down and talked to Executive Director of the Downtown Ithaca Alliance, Gary Ferguson.
Restaurants were impacted depending on a lot of different characteristics out of their control. How do I stay afloat given that I was developed and set up for an economy that doesn't currently exist?
Ferguson explains that with foot traffic in the city down, the many restrictions, as well as impending weather, restaurants have had to get really creative. What is your advice for these restaurants as we go into the winter months?
I think you have to keep trying different angles.
He also says that the Downtown Ithaca Alliance will do their best to promote businesses and restaurants in the winter.
We will be having a sort of a Bite of Ithaca activity going on in December. In lieu of the chili cook-off, we'll be doing something like that as well.
And when it comes to what Ferguson believes restaurants are doing best,
say that, we've seen businesses really, I think, up their game in sort of online service and certainly delivery as well.
back in Massachusetts, down the street from Kennedy's, is the Vinbin, which is a cafe, beer, wine, and cheese store. Similar to Ithaca Restaurants, owner Rick Lombardi hopes to continue utilizing his grab-and-go design during the pandemic and upcoming winter months.
So, luckily for us, because we're a transient type of store, we weren't built to serve indoors. Basically, it's a counter service, it's a grab and go. So we can use the coming winter to our advantage because we know how to do that.
Lombardi also hopes to utilize their new website and delivery system.
came up with delivery schedules. Actually, my daughter created a website to make sure that people could order online and we would deliver. And they came up with the delivery routes and times and came up with different packages so people wouldn't have to come in.
Lombardi notes that guests and customers are still eating outside, even going into the cooler months.
As long as they're comfortable, they so choose, then patios out there, the tables are out there, and they can have at it.
At both Kennedy's and Vinbin, safety has been on the forefront. Masks, social distancing, and cleaning have been and continue to be prioritized.
Guidelines are followed, ventilation has been increased, sanitation is increased, all those steps are taken. The staff is always masked, we're doing the best that we possibly can do.
At Vinbin, they close early, so employees have more time to clean. They also have separate bathrooms for customers, as well as a cleaning service that deep cleans the building.
Implemented the sneeze guards on all the registers. Everybody has to wear a mask.
I asked Chuck, a manager at Vinbin, what the transition to masks was like.
After 2 or 3 days of wearing it, 8 straight hours a day, I stopped. You've been noticing? When I leave the house in the morning, it used to be keys, wallet, phone. Now it's keys, wallet, mask.
And like what type of mask?
This new reality is just another part of the 2020 experience for restaurants. Adaptability and innovation remains a driving force in survival.
I think that business is probably changed going forward forever.
I mean, this is a whole new world of marketing, a whole new world of outreach that we have to do that people have never had to do that before in Ithaca.
Restaurants need to stick together and help one another. I think that's the best way.
During these uncertain times, the message is clear. Support local businesses. Reporting for ICTV Reports in Marlborough, Massachusetts, I'm Riley Garand.